Okay, here you see I had a problem with the sewer line. This was a 3-inch cast iron pipe coming out. The house is over here, and this goes under the patio down on this side. And I thought, since this sewer system had been modified in the past, long before I came here, I thought that they had hit this with a ditch witch or something, kind of ripped the top off. Even though it looks all corroded and pretty fragile, it's just a lot of flakiness. And you'll see here when I clean it up what it looks like. It's still very substantial. But what I found is plumbers will rip a hole in the top of the pipe to stick in a snake if they don't have access anywhere else. I thought it had been damaged and this was the cause of the problem. But just one thing that needed to be fixed, in addition to a few others here. And let's move on. So once I had thought I had isolated the problem, I had patched it all up just to kind of keep it from oozing out until I could figure out what to do. And then here you see I got the pipe all cleaned up and I cut the ends off, got rid of the damaged part here, and there I got it all cleaned up and ready to be repaired. Another view here with some better lighting, a little bit closer, and there's the repair. You can see here is the footing for the house. The cast iron pipe comes out, got a couple couplers. This goes in to some type of fitting over here under the patio, which we'll get more into in a little bit. And just for a little bit of added security, I smeared some silicone on the rough edges of the cast iron. And you can see here when I slid the coupling on, it kind of oozed out a little bit, because I didn't want any moisture dripping out, because every single one of these roots sticking out here would just go and stick right in there and block it. And there's some better lighting on the repair. Here you can see how tough it was to work, because I'm down about 3 feet and I've got about 12 inches in between the patio and the footing of the house. There's my measurement, gives you just over, not quite 12 inches here, and 36 inches down. Where these roots come from, I don't know, because there's nothing really close. Just the strangest thing ever, how it all just happens to grow there. Oh yeah, here's another thing. Since this was all wet in here, I was thinking this was part of the problem. I was being real careful when I dug, because there was a pile of gravel here under this downspout. I thought the gravel was just on top of a sewer grate, some type of drainage where this water from the gutter system would just flow and be taken away. No, just a pile of gravel in the dirt. And the reason it was always wet is because it had nowhere to go. It's got patio here on the side, it's got patio here, and it's got house here. And the water really had no place to go, because on this side goes uphill. This just kind of sat there with water. Here is the other end of that sewer line. House is on this side, under the patio, and then the water flows in this direction and goes into PVC. And then this vertical part here is a clean out. And you can see this is concrete. It's not clay, it's not cast iron, it's concrete. And there was a big rubber boot on this really crummy joint here. And I don't know why I don't have a picture of it, but yeah, the rubber boot was not really secure, and it was completely full of roots and blocked before I had taken this picture. Yeah, I had it all cleaned up here for you. Here's a little closer view of the same thing, and just, yeah, concrete to 4-inch PVC, even though it starts at 3 inches. Here's a close-up view. And here's a view looking up inside the concrete pipe. You can see every joint, or you can see only the first joint here, is just full of roots and debris, sewage that just can't get through because of all the organic materials growing in here. Here's a view from a little further back. And of course you can see all the exposed aggregate, which does not help, because you don't want to have a rough surface on a sewer line. Okay, here's start of the repair on the far side of the patio. I had cut the concrete pipe here and just kind of tried to evaluate the situation and see what was going to go on. I had to remove some blocks that extended the patio, and I was trying to work in this little hole here. Again, this is down about 3 feet, so I dug another foot down, so I'm standing in a 4-foot hole. So I'm basically waist deep trying to bend over in here, and it was really tight. And some more of the same pictures, more overexposed. Still more pictures. Okay, now what I decided to do was remove as much of this as possible, because I figured just connecting this is not going to fix it, because the joint underneath the patio here, back about a foot or so, is completely full of roots. I needed a way to clean that out, and thinking every single joint underneath there, since these are 3-foot sections of concrete, every single joint is going to be full of roots. So I pulled this apart, and you can see it is just packed. This is not dirt or sand. This is just a mass of roots all the way around, which found its way inside the joint and right up into the pipe. Here's a close-up view. You can see roots, a lot of dirt that the roots brought with it, and just a lot of basically sewage that cannot get past this joint. And so here's what I decided to do. I took a 3-inch PVC and coupling, and I thinned it out. I don't know if you can tell here, but the wall thickness I cut way down. Here you can see it's been really trimmed down, and I'm going to use that to join 3-foot sections of 3-inch PVC. Here's another view, a little bit blurry, but you can see I've got a lot of couplers here, and they're really thinned down, and that will allow these to slide up inside the cement pipe. Here's a better view. You can see the 3-inch pipe here and the coupler, and you can see this is all shaved down so that it fits right up inside. And this coupler is the first one to get pushed in, so I literally cut it off because I didn't need the full length. I just wanted the thickest part possible, which is going to be the pipe plus the coupling. And I wanted that wall thickness because this barely fit inside, and I wanted it to basically shear off all of the roots that were growing inside that pipe and just kind of cut them off. And here you can see I'm pushing this up inside, and this pipe is going to get forced in up in this way. I had to extend this hole just a little bit so that I could get pipe in. So you can see one section of pipe in is in the cement, and here is another coupling getting ready to go in. And I got another coupling here on the end of the pipe, and just off of the edge here I've got just a few more inches where I can put a block of wood and tap it with a hammer to force this all the way in. Here's another view of this coupling getting ready to go into the cement. Here's a closer view. You can see I had this all shaved down on my table saw. And there, I got it all pushed in, and it hit a nice solid edge, and according to my measurements it made it all the way across the patio, so I'm just kind of assuming that it made it right up to that little adapter that I had seen just next to my my patch between the house and the patio. There's a close-up view. You can see the cement pipe here. This is the 3-inch PVC, and I've got a coupler out here just to give it a little bit more extra thickness so that I was able to hammer it in, and then I cut it off to be as flush as possible once I had it all the way in there. And I know this looks a little bit weird. It actually does go uphill. Not happy about that, but this pipe here is up tight to the 3-inch PVC inside. In fact, it kind of overlaps it a little bit because this is 4-inch, and then it's got this big coupler which stretches over onto the 4-inch cement. And yeah, I don't like that it's uphill, but I really didn't have any choice. The only way to fix that is to dig up this section over here that this connects to, and that's about 50 or 60 feet of pipe, which would have to be lowered about 6 inches, and that's just not in the budget. So what I did is, because this went uphill, this clean out kind of goes down and swoops out towards the output. I inserted this one so he swoops down and goes back towards the house. So I've got two clean outs side by side, so I can now clean out the exit or the input, and I just have to kind of keep it flushed and clear as best I can. Here's a close-up view. You can see the coupler on the cement to here and to here. And there you can see the two cleanouts side by side. This one goes down towards the house, and this one goes down and out, and actually only goes about a foot or so before it turns 90 degrees, because the sewer line starts here and comes across this way. There's a view from the side. You can see how it actually goes uphill, and not happy about it, but it does work. And that's the end. I had to replace these. I had to replace the cement blocks over here that went across, and surprisingly, as old and as packed as this dirt was, when I put all this dirt back in the hole, I was still short. Apparently I packed it in tighter than it used to be. So that's that. Problem solved.